This is before live. This is the recording before we go live. But
We're about to live.
yeah. Hey, everybody. We are about... Hi, Chris Adams here. And Kevin Bennett, a.k.a. French Accent. We're about to go live on Facebook. I'm here at work as per usual because I don't have a life. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you do have a life. It's just a work life.
I work a lot. But anyway, we're about to start the show. Hey, everybody. Hey, we are live on Facebook, and I am doing You know how hard it is to think and do buttons?
Oh, yeah, it's impossible. I haven't got any buttons. I'm gonna do the thinking. You do the buttons.
Yeah, this man is doing nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just pressing his buttons.
Oh no, he's doing a wonderful job. I'm here, Chris Adams here, here in a wonderful area of LA with.
I'm Kevin Bennett, a.k.a. French Accent. I do the accordion with the Apache and shenaniganery like that.
Yeah, and you can find all of our information. So actually, yeah, don't fondle your lower third.
There are many bad habits I have to work with.
Yeah. I will actually, quick business, I will be at the Brea Improv tomorrow. That is Sunday, 7 p.m. If you go to improv.com/Brea and use promo code Rivera, you can get some complimentary tickets to come see myself, Eric Rivera, and Leo Flowers, an extremely hilarious comic as well. And I really do apologize to everybody. I forget the other two comedians. And it's not because they are women. It's because I don't know who they are. I've never met them.
Hey, if you forget women in the Me Too era, that means that you're an ally.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what that means. That means he's like, oh, I don't even remember that ass. I don't even know. I have no idea. I'm nothing.
Well, it's not that. It's just I've never met them in my life. And,
I feel you.
And they look hilarious by their promos, so I know that they're very funny as well. And you will enjoy the entire lineup of comedians.
Brea's got a good lineup usually.
Yeah.
They do. I'm going to be in Mission Viejo on Monday at Art Valenzuela's show. I think it's at the Observatory. It's in the Art Center off Crown Royal Plaza at the top. It's there. It's a clean show. It'll be fun. Nice.
I'm doing his show June 1st-ish? No, not June, July.
July. I know we're already in June. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, it's been a good May. I had shows every weekend, and this month is starting to pick up as well.
Very good.
So I'm going to be doing some more shows. Hopefully, I'll be back in San Diego again. I got to go down to road comedy.
A lot of fun.
So we were talking about that right before we went on air, and I got to go to San Diego with Ramon Hernandez. Now, I don't know if you know who that is. He's a comic out of Anaheim.
I think the name's familiar.
Great guy. We went. I actually met him in Anaheim. I took the Amtrak to Anaheim because I don't have a car, and Uber rides are it was like $40 or something.
Yeah.
And so Amtrak was 15, and it took me right to downtown Anaheim. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. I'm right by Angel Stadium and where the Honda Center where the Ducks play. I used to be an Angels fan, but now I'm in LA, so I'm
not allowed.
The Dodgers. But so I go down there, and I meet a girl on the train. Now, it was kind of like out of a movie.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. And I don't know, anyone that knows me personally, I am very charming. I know that doesn't sound very, but even the way I said that, but no.
Yeah, there's some charm.
I just, it's not even that I try, it's just that I talk to people, and I've always talked to people, and even if, I will talk to literally anybody, because I think that everyone has a story to tell, and so
for sure, yeah.
I start talking to this girl. I find out she lives somewhere out in I think a Lancaster area, which because I'm all about I want to buy a home, and she was like, oh, you can get homes really cheap out there. I'm like, really? Do I want to live out in Lancaster? No. But it's closer to Vegas, so it's but there's nothing to do. But I'm looking at this. I'm thinking there is. Well, now I know this girl there. So I'll buy a home. Maybe we'll get married, start a family, you know.
And if we don't, hey, I had a home.
And either way, now I have a home, and I'm the best looking guy in Lancaster, I'm sure.
Boom.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not that.
Some guy in Lancaster's like, oh, I'll defend that title.
I guarantee you, there's way better looking people. Anyway. But I'll be the funniest guy in Lancaster. There you go. So I meet this girl. We get on the train, and the conductor kicks her off because I don't know if she had the wrong ticket on her phone at the time, because she was telling me she bought a ticket. So I'm like, she must have the ticket. Maybe she just didn't have the right one pulled up. But they're so fast to just kick them off.
Wow.
You know, and I was
Maybe she's just from Lancaster, and it was a Lancaster con. She's like, I don't know how to get on this trip. I just got to say I did it on my phone.
Yeah. And so I was, but no, I got her information before she got kicked off. So I'm still in talks with her. And hopefully I'll get into this Lancaster Comedy Festival and be able to hang out with her. So who knows?
That'd be tight. Tell me how that goes. I don't think I can do it this year.
Oh, okay.
I guess we'll see.
My phone speaker isn't working. Oh, okay. We have sound. People have been telling me.
Do we have sound? Can we?
Yeah. Can anyone tell me? People are responding. So
okay.
I was worried. I was like, I know we have sound. I can see the levels.
So are we gonna get into this? What you wanna?
Yes. Oh, right. I'm sorry. I was so busy talking about comedy stuff. Today we're gonna talk about is Disney evil?
Yes. That's the end of the podcast. No, but yeah, we got some interesting. There's some interesting subject matter there.
Yeah,
like Disney himself, for example. Walt Disney was abused by his father, and he was involved in a secret society, something de Mole or whatever. That's why there's a Club 32 in all the Disneylands now. It's a Freemason subsidiary.
De Mole, little known fact. I was in De Mole.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Am I evil?
I hope not.
No, I'm not. I'm not evil because I quit really fast.
So it was a weird thing, huh?
No, it was great. I liked it. I thought it was fun, but it was really boring.
Okay.
A lot of ritual that was just like I didn't. But
slicing a pig open, drinking the blood.
No, I didn't get that high up in De Mole.
Okay, I don't know about that. I was just being funny.
Okay, because I do believe there's probably bad elements in there, but
well, like even at the outer levels of Freemasonry, it's just like community service and stuff. They're doing good stuff. It's just it's at the top levels, and you know what? It's in Catholicism too.
Well, the church attacked them. And so they don't like the church, the Catholic Church. Yeah. I can see why people think it's evil.
Well, with Catholicism, at the top of the papacy, they've justified mystery religion paganism, which was prevalent in the time when Constantine was making Christianity a politicized event. They've justified that with Catholicism in the top. That's why you have people praying to saints and Mother Mary and all these pagan ritual idolatry practices that are actually contrary to the scriptures. It's because that's papal, that's catechismal, that's something that isn't scripture.
Mm-hmm.
It's treated the same way, though. And so at the very top, with Jesuitical thought, the ends justify the means, and sometimes the ends involve propaganda, sometimes they involve lying, cheating, stealing, sometimes they involve things like abuse. They do, and that's why there's such weird stuff going on at the top of the Catholic Church. It doesn't represent all of Catholicism, though, or all the Catholics who genuinely love Christ.
Okay.
It's just like at the top, you got. So I think the argument that the Freemasons are evil 99.9 of every because not all of them are at the top.
Yeah.
But like the Catholic Church, the people at the top are definitely into some bad stuff. Just like our present Pope, the Jesuitical Pope Francis.
Yeah.
I think he's a pedo. I think he's a straight up. I think he's defending him. I think he's a weird dude,
Mm-hmm.
and he's ushering in a ubiquity of socialist policies that are antithetical to Scripture. He's changing the definition.
Yeah, they're definitely antithetical to Catholic doctrine.
Yeah. Even basic Catholic dogma that was added to the Bible, it's against. I mean, he's just like he's like, we are going to reinvent. I'm going to be the best reboot evil pope from the dark ages, and I'm going to be so nice.
Did you get the accent? Because he's from Argentina.
You're right.
Do you get the accent? I know. I was going to call you out because I'm like, we don't be dishonest.
I'm sorry. He's more Argentinian pope.
There you go.
He talks more like very happy man.
Even in our exaggerations, we try to be honest.
So anyway, back to Disney. There's some if we can have that kind of shenaniganery transpire at the top levels of the Roman Catholic bureaucratic machine.
Yeah.
And I'm a Christian myself, and there's good Christian Catholics, but there's evil there. It's not that big a leap to expect a corporation like Disney that produces entertainment aimed at young people might itself have some shenaniganery. And I think I can prove any Disney movie is trying to push either the occult, young sexuality in children, or drug use. Any Disney movie, I throw one at me. I think I can prove it.
All right.
Or at least make you laugh.
Yeah, okay. Oh, this is a good thought exercise because, and we do have sound, by the way.
Oh,
it's
good.
just Gavin didn't have sound.
Gavin, get in the game.
I know. And Gavin, come to my show on Sunday at the Brea Improv. This time I can get you free tickets. I'm not working for a headliner, so I can get you the free. Anyways, but back to the topic at hand. Right. So you said any movie. I'm going to play devil's advocate.
All right, hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
I'm going to say Snow White. Well, let's start.
Cocaine.
Okay. Well,
no, but she's living with 7 dwarves in a cave that are adult men, and she's a young woman, and these are dwarves, okay, in the Middle Ages. I mean, it's a nice fairy tale idea to imagine a young virile woman on the cusp of womanhood wouldn't be treated in an odd way by a bunch of old men, but it's not realistic. And a young girl who runs away from her home for a perceived insult that her parents gave her, which they really didn't, and runs in with a bunch of adults who are living in a shared living situation, that girl's probably going to get abused. But with Snow White, it turns out that the people she runs into are really just wonderful, wonderful individuals. They might be. It's possible. I think in the world we live in, it's a lot less likely to be the case, and a lot more likely that a young runaway may find herself caught up with human traffickers. And so Disney has immediately, through the lens of fairy tale, produced a false dichotomy that the audience will ingest. And the result is a young girl gets an idea that if something bad happens, well, she can just trust herself to the strangers she meets on the road. And somebody will be good. Even the woodsman turns out to be a good guy there.
Yeah.
And her mother's the evil. And her dad doesn't know what's going on. He's just mysteriously absent. Like a father wouldn't notice his wife's looking in the mirror and a witch. Maybe he was enchanted. But you see, it totally takes the parents out of the equation, puts the discretion at the protagonist, which is a child watching this. The child puts themselves in Snow White's shoes, and then has them go and do something completely stupid that'll ruin their life, but it turns out happily ever after. That's every Disney movie.
That is true. Okay, let me ask you, since I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
They're all based on a lot of, I believe, is it German?
Well, they inverse what was probably a good tale in order to have a modern propagandistic element. I think. That's my opinion.
Ooh, this guy's got some words.
I do. I made that propagandistic one up, but it makes sense. You understood.
It sounds right? Good.
Maybe it is a real world. Somebody's got Google.
Yeah. No, use the 1828 dictionary, please.
Boom.
Use
the
that
older
one.
the dictionary, the better. They do change the meanings of words going forward.
I've noticed
horrible.
that. Okay, so we started like Lion King.
Rafiki's witch doctor, Timon and Pumbaa, gay. No, that's the joke I do on stage. But it is true, Rafiki is a witch doctor, and basically what Simba needs after he has been responsible for the death of his father by disobeying his father, because Mufasa wouldn't be dead if Simba just followed what his dad said. Mm-hmm. But no. And it's not Hamlet, okay? Hamlet was not responsible for the death of his dad, okay? He wasn't. So this whole thing that it was, it's a reinvention of Hamlet. Oh, there's a father and son who are royal, I guess. They're not Danes or lions, and Hamlet didn't kill his dad. I guess there's a mean uncle, but there wasn't like the love story. Ophelia's dead. Okay, Nala is making cat eyes in the garden with Timon and Pumbaa eating grubs while they're consulting the witch doctor. The witch doctor, Rafiki, does have some good advice, but the idea here, I think, is putting in a subtle nod toward spiritual ideology, which is on the negative side, the infernal side of spirituality. And again, making that a choice that's advisable for young ones. There is no white magic. The idea of using spiritual forces to accomplish something in our reality is Luciferian at its core. The idea that you can affect healing or anything, Reiki, there is no white magic. It's all black magic masquerading. So when Disney has good magic anywhere, that's planting a seed in a kid's mind, even if it's a fairy tale. Rafiki wasn't directly magic, but he was a witch doctor type. Let's see, what else do we have in Lion King? I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Okay.
Elton John did a lot of the songs, and I have trouble believing Elton John's songs wouldn't have some element of subversion. I haven't listened to it close enough to point out directed examples, but I mean, now that I know what I do about Elton John, I can't listen to Rocket Man the same way.
It does have some funny messages, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I'm not the man you think I am at home. It's like, what is that saying?
No, I'm a Rocket Man.
Although who thought he
all
was
right.
the man he was at home?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't.
Mars ain't the type of place to raise your kids. What do you know about that, Elton John? Also, Freddie Mercury always wore a wife beater. Never had a wife to beat. I don't know. Sorry, two biopics.
No, we got the jokes.
Right.
So, okay, Lion King, we went over. Let's go back, Bambi, because that's the
Bambi.
Okay.
Bambi's a little bit more difficult, but there's a few things at play here. Again, you have the parental, the absence of the father, and the child being raised by its mother. So the child has to learn all about the world of things like maturity and adolescence through friends like Thumper, who's a rabbit.
Okay.
So they just they get Twitter pated, and everything just the Twitter patient of Bambi it's sort of like telling kids that if you just follow those feelings, they're going to lead to lifelong happiness.
Yeah.
You're just going to become a big strong buck and do all this, and it's a nice ideology. It's a nice ideal for that to happen, but it's not. You don't just fall into Twitter patient and everything's great. You fall into Twitter patient, you probably have sex when you're 15 or 16 in high school or whatever. It messes you up. It does. It does. And the anthropomorphization, that's a real word. I might not have said it right, but it means putting humanity in something that isn't human, basically.
Like an animal.
You're like an animal. Mm-hmm. The anthropomorphization of these animals, it changes how you look at our reality and makes you more susceptible to a narrative which would preserve your childlike understanding of fauna, animals, Bambi, Thumper, all the skunks and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The man is so horrible because he shoots a deer. Okay, well, we don't know why. Maybe he's trophy hunting. Maybe we don't know the time frame of Bambi. It could be anywhere from the 1700s to the modern day. Maybe he just needs to feed his family.
That's true. We never really get the hunter's story.
It's sad, but because you've anthropomorphized these animals and given them the level of consciousness human beings have, it changes your understanding of them. Now, C.S. Lewis did that a little bit too in the Narnia books, but he did it to a different effect, and it was more because him and his brother had an animal world. And I'm not totally against anthropomorphization of animals, but it sort of it leads the witness, if you will, in a subconscious way so that you're predisposed to have a perspective before you've even reached the age to understand what that's all about.
Okay. Bambi has a special place in my heart.
I was one of the first movies I ever had as a kid. I love his nose. Because of his square little nose, the way that looked, that's some psychological stuff too. But I love the way it was animated.
Yeah, no, just because it was about the death of a mother, and I lost my mom early.
Fair.
At 9. So to me, it was like a movie that it helped me grieve, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I'm not saying Disney movie isn't without value. I think there's a lot of wholesomeness in a lot of what they do. I'm pointing at stuff that you wouldn't be able to see unless you dissected it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I'm just saying Again, we love these movies, but there's...
there's Disney... I wouldn't be able to go this in deep if I hadn't seen Bambi 1,000 times.
Yeah.
No,
that's what I'm just trying to let the audience know. We all love the movies. We're just trying to find the things you may have missed.
Because you can have the story of the young boy losing his mother and becoming a strong man anyway without having a subtle dig at morality.
Yeah.
And that's the issue I've got. It's like, you don't need that. You can still have the story, and you don't have to psychologically program us.
Absolutely. And again, I do believe a lot of entertainment is meant to put ideas in our heads and make it seem a certain way.
We were talking about this earlier. I got a degree in theater. They taught us to instruct and to delight because that's what the Greeks did. Really what they were doing is preparing a bunch of young kids who didn't know any better in a mental way, which would allow them to be pieces in a propaganda chess set willingly. See, we were to instruct and delight, and our professors, who were eisegesis, reading into the text that which wasn't there, who were doing that to things like Shakespeare, they were having us act in a propagandistic way, and we thought this was just advanced interpretation of the material, when in reality it had been spun. And that's at Wyoming level. And if they're doing that at Wyoming level out here in L.A., I mean, it's up the chain dimensionally. It's way, way more intense than that.
Yeah.
So to instruct and delight, most people in this industry are thinking that the propagandistic element is just the deeper aspect of the medium, when in reality it's something that's been introduced for other reasons.
Okay. Let's go to Dumbo.
Dumbo, pink elephants.
Yeah.
Pink elephants. Pink elephants, you do not drink a shot or a little bit of champagne and have psychedelic trips of pink elephants all over the place. You don't see these weird images with Dumbo. There's even a pyramid eye, like from the all-seeing eye that happens in that pink elephant scene. With Dumbo, the story and the characterization and everything's fine, but that pink elephant scene plants a psychological seed in your mind, and that's in Pinocchio at the Jackass Island, and it's in Snow White when she's running through the forests and there's all the monsters there. This is another aspect of Disney. This is where they're introducing the occult, because what they do is there's a pictorial language of archetypes that defines the way in which human minds function. So when you show human minds certain images, they stay there. They stay there forever. They just need to be jogged. That's one of the reasons you don't want to look at porn, and I try and avoid it. Yeah. Porn gets in your brain, and then the infernal entities that work in a metaphysical sense to dick with this universe have something they can use to mess with your mind. They can bring that to the fore of your conscious. Yeah. So what Disney did with Pink Elephants, it's neat, it's fun, it's trippy. I appreciate it from an artistic angle as an adult. As a child, that's planting strange, shapely archetypes into the mind that are going to stay there and which can be used as triggers elsewhere. And one of them's that eyeball, that all-seeing eye. There's a point in there when there is an all-seeing eye that the elephant's looking through with the pink elephants everywhere. Yeah. We all know the song, right? That right there, it's in... I don't know of a Disney movie that doesn't have some horrific element, and it induces a primal sort of emotional state. It's the thrill aspect of it. And it's sort of, it's like tenderizing meat. Your brain's the meat, and it's the meat of your soul. It's just kind of tenderizing that for other concepts later to get lodged in there. There's a thrill to it that pulls you into it. So you might look at a horrible picture or weird things again in the future once you've seen that, because it's intriguing. It's the curiosity killed the cat with that little seed. And I love Dumbo. That was one I had as a kid too. I watched that one. I know it backwards and forwards. I love the crow scene. I beat unseen, I ever see a elephant fly. Love that song. Yeah. That's great. I love the Dumbo's really in my head. Because the elephant calls him an assassin at some point. She's like, "Stop, assassin!"
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, the other motherly elephants.
Yeah.
Here's what I have noticed about a lot of Disney films: is there always is a parent that dies or is missing.
Yes, this is true. And there was some absence in Disney's own life, I believe.
Okay, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because you said he was horribly abused.
I think now
was it horribly or just like?
Well, you're gonna have. There's a lot of weird research because who Disney is. It's hard to find the facts on these things, so I don't want to misspeak. I've read resources that said he had a bad relationship with his father that was abusive. Okay. And that stems to one of the reasons there's a distinct paternal absence in most Disney
of
movies.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them there's not, but for most of them, or if there is a dad, he gets killed, or if he's there, he's just not there. Like in Snow White, he's just not there.
Yeah,
he's just
even in the next movie, even in Aladdin, he's a bumbling idiot.
Oh yeah, the dad of Jasmine.
Yeah,
he's just a complete fool. And Aladdin's full of all kinds of stuff. Do you guys know what a genie is?
I mean, other than
it's a Muslim demon.
Oh,
it's the Islamic equivalent of a demon is a jinn.
Oh,
and they attach themselves to objects. So the whole idea of Aladdin is this beggar finds a demon that gives him wealth and power and a happy ending. Straight up the occult. There's no way around it. That's what that is. I didn't know that when I was a kid. When you were a kid, didn't you see Robin Williams being that genie and you think, boy, I'd like to find a ramp someday with a genie?
Yeah,
didn't we all want that?
Yeah. Well,
3 wishes?
Here's the truth about wishes or getting anything you want just without working for it.
Right.
It doesn't feel good in life. So I don't know. The people that win the lottery usually are broke within a year or so.
Yeah.
90% I forget. It's a high percentage of them.
Yeah.
Because when you don't work for something, it's actually not valuable to you.
No, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah. So as an adult, I realize getting what you want is actually the worst thing you can do. And I think
you don't even know what you want.
You don't know what you want. And it doesn't. It's a diminishing return on happiness. So, for example, like when this new iPhone, when I got it, the first month was awesome, and then very quickly I was like, meh, it's my phone, whatever. Yeah. I don't care. But
the beach, I love the beach, but I don't go there very much.
I don't go there barely at all. I actually like the colder weather, to be honest.
So do I.
I enjoy
the RV thing. Oh my gosh, I don't like my cat boiling.
So everything is everything is a diminishing return on investment, even in happiness. So like that's why the way to gain happiness is not through getting what you want, but actually having goals and then working towards achieving them. And then once you achieve them, have another goal and keep it's never being satisfied and always working towards something instead of I got everything I want and everything's great. That's not exactly how it works. You have to try. It's especially as men. I don't know. I can't speak for women. I don't know what they need. But for men, we need goals and purpose. So without purpose, we die very quickly.
Fact.
My grandpa was a carpenter for so long, and while he was working, he'd do projects even after he retired, and it kind of helped him keep going. But once he started retiring, his health just went down fast because without a purpose,
you lose the joie de vivre.
Yeah, whatever he said.
The joy of life.
I know, but you're French accent, so
I was going into a real French
that was way too French of an accent. So you basically have to keep. That's why the wish thing would be actually terrible.
It would. Well, and here's the other thing. It's real. And what it is you do a bunch of satanic crap and you get what you want at the expense of your soul and depression for the rest of your life, and then eventually being exposed so you die in shame. Kevin Spacey. That's his life story right there. It's most.
I was going to do it. Stop it. I can't. I've never done impressions, but Kevin Spacey's impression is like, stop it. You're being ridiculous. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, well, I mean, point being though, a lot of these, I think it's possible to make it to a point of becoming a creator of content, artistic or otherwise, that's well loved without having to do something evil. But I think it's incredibly rare. It might. I don't know who would have done it. I mean, I'd like to think some guys that I really like that are my favorite entertainers have, but. We're all human beings, and I look at my own life, and I'm not even in the entertainment industry, and I've made plenty of stupid mistakes. So if I'm this way, I mean, somebody who's up the chain, who knows what's going on,
Well, as someone that works with some of the people up the chain, they don't come out unscathed. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say more, but yeah.
It's painful, and, it's a rough state of affairs because I think God does give us gifts, and these people that climb that ladder, it's not that they're doing it simply because of a selfish motive. If you have a gift that you're good at, I think you're supposed to use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know how some of us who are good at performing or entertaining or making music or art or film, these kind of things that are that part of the brain, what are we supposed to do? I mean, because if you just go and work in a desk job behind, at a 9 to 5 where you can't use any of those, it's going to atrophy that part of yourself. You're always going to be depressed. You're going to get all overweight and under interesting. Personality will go. You'll get that half-lidded look in your eyes and just watch your shows and go to bed. I can't. That scares the heck out. It happens to a lot of people, though, and I think they were supposed to do something else and then figured they couldn't. And, they're kind of right, but at the same time, what's better? Burning out or turning into fat soup?
Fat Soup sounds like a Marx Brothers movie.
Yeah, it's the sequel to Duck Soup.
Yeah, it's Duck Soup Part 2. Fat Soup.
I mean, though, it's sad. It's because somebody pointed out the other day that America. Did you see that movie Elysium or whatever with Matt Damon? I think.
No, I don't really. I haven't been to the movies in.
It's some movie where there's
long.
the rich people live in a space station and all the poor people live on Earth, and he's got to get some medical attention for somebody, so he's got to BS his way to the space station. But he's got to fight the tough South African fighter guy who's like a cyborg, and he's also in that movie District 9. That guy, it's real great.
I like
good
that
fight.
guy. I like
Love that guy. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
No,
from South
real
Africa,
good.
right?
Wonderful. Yeah, South Africa. He's got to fight him, and he gets to the space station, and that's where all the rich people live, and they're almost eternal. America is the Elysium of the world.
Okay.
We are the Elysium of the world, and unfortunately, we don't understand what that means. When you're born here, you won the lottery.
Yeah. That's why we get.
We don't appreciate it.
That's why we complain all the time because we have it really well.
We got it. I've been blessed to live in an RV with a cat traveling around because it reveals to me how well things are, how much I've been blessed, even though I'm in this spot. Whereas before, I took so much for granted. I took just taking a shower in the morning for granted.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I took a shower before I came.
It's a great feeling, isn't it, to be able to do that? Now I got to go to a 24-hour fitness, and for me, getting cleaned up in the morning is about an hour-long chore. I can't just roll out of bed and stumble in there in my boxers and brush my teeth and pick my ear and fart and drop a deuce and take a shower. I've got to get up in the morning. I've got to plan it out. Before I wake up, I have to drive 5 or 6 miles,
Wow.
So I appreciate now what I had in a nasty apartment when I was living with 2 other roommates who both had boyfriends and cats. And it was about as small as this room. It was a little bigger.
Okay, wow, that does sound terrible.
Yeah, it was. I had a cat too. I had a girlfriend for a short time while we were there. So for about 3 weeks, there were 6 people and 3 cats in a 3-bedroom apartment.
You guys can't see it because we have the green screen, but this is not that big of a space.
No,
this is really tiny, and this is about my apartment size. So it's just me.
So I was real unappreciative of that, but now doing the RV thing, I mean, it's got some ups, it does, but boy, just the basic life stuff, I have to be so creative about that, and I really appreciate it. So when I get a chance to just park somewhere and hang out in a house for a few days, it's hard to get me riled up. I'm just so happy.
Well, here's my fight is complacency. So you have to fight complacency. You have to fight to achieve something in life. You have to fight. See, I know this is off topic on Disney, but complacency is an evil as well. Because I titled the show Disney and Other Evils.
Oh.
Yes.
Keeping it open. All
Complacency is an evil because what it does is it takes away, and there's a lot of things that contribute to it, but it takes away your ability to move forward with goals and create new goals and always strive to achieve something different. So, for example, you are, me, I could be very complacent. I'd be like, well, I'm doing well. I'm at this one open mic that always gives me love, and it prepares me for whatever shows I need to do, and just be complacent and only do that and never go anywhere else. But then no one else would see me, and I wouldn't get more shows. And so complacency in comedy, that respect, would keep me from moving up in comedy. So you have to always get out of your comfort zone and do something that is not exactly easy. Because if life was easy, if it was supposed to be easy, it would be boring.
Yeah, and we wouldn't develop. There's the whole God's the potter, we're the clay thing. Imagine a rock that's got a bunch of rough edges, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if it just sits there, those rough edges are never rounded off. But to round them rough edges off, it's painful. It's got to run. Yeah. It's got to go through the tumble. It's got to bounce off a bunch of other rocks, and it's got to do that for a long time until it's properly round.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going through.
Yeah.
I think.
So yeah, life is a series of. I think personally. Oh, here's something that people brought up. They always ask, why does God allow bad things to happen? Here's what I've learned over just from my own experiences. Bad things happen to you, not because bad things are never supposed to happen to you. That is a weird way of thinking. You're supposed to be able to go through challenges, but it's to be able to teach you something. So every bad thing that happens to you is for a reason. And it may seem terrible at the time, and it may seem like, what was the point? I always talk about this example. When I got my DUI, almost died that night. I crashed into a wall. My car caught fire. And I was so blacked out. I was just in the passengers or in the driver's seat, like completely out of my mind. And luckily, I didn't hurt anybody else. And didn't even hurt myself that much, except a little slight. My hand was burned a little bit, but Oof. Not much, like barely burnt.
Wow.
So the reason why that happened was it said, hey, Chris, you got to wake up. You got to, if you want to be a comedian or you want to achieve something in life, you have to work hard and stop messing around and stop falling into despair.
Amen to that.
Because despair is going to keep you from achieving as well.
It's hard. It's very hard. I was just listening to a sermon on despair, and it was talking about how sometimes it was discouraged was translated despair in Scripture. And it's similar because when you are in despair, you have lost your courage.
Yes. You
have been And I feel that. I have to fight it. I vacillate. I mean, I drank a Rockstar Energy drink, so I'm kind of popping off the balls of my feet right now. But I do go up and down. I think a sine wave is more apt at describing life than a lot of people realize. They think it's just supposed to do that.
No.
It can't. You've got to get some rough edges bopped off you. So it does. I think it does this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the way life goes. And even happiness is like that. Mm-hmm. You can be happy, but you're going to come down always. And it's going to go back up eventually, and it's going to come back down eventually. Yeah. True happiness isn't like, oh, I'm smiling all the time. That's an insane person.
Yeah. That person, get them off the lithium, or get them off. You know, let them have their Mannix until they're not happy all the time.
Yeah,
just even out.
I'm pretty happy now. I've gotten a job that I never thought I would have. I work really hard at it. I still make mistakes all the time, but it's not always like great. Like everything isn't gravy all the time. I'm not just like, yeah, everything is beautiful. No, it's like some days are good, some days are bad.
That's one of the reasons you need to keep close to God.
Yes,
because I tell you what, even I've seen him work. I've seen him directly answer my prayers. I know he's there, and I still, when I'm down in the dumps, I can't even. I have to go to him directly because otherwise I wouldn't be able to pull myself out of it. I can't remember when I'm sad. I can't remember when I've been happy.
Okay. Yeah, and that's a trap too.
Yeah.
Because what sadness tries to do is pull you down into it and go, oh, things are never going to get better. That's wrong. Because you don't know how life is going to go. Yeah. Only one person knows, and it's not us.
Winning the lottery could be your worst, could be the biggest bad thing of your life.
Yeah.
Crashing your car on a DUI could give you a new lease on life.
Well, now I'm starting to get booked a lot more. I turned it into material. People are like, wow, you're so open about talking about these things. I'm like, yeah, I just, that's just the way I've always been. And it gave me a realization that no matter how bad things seem, don't despair. Don't be a wuss.
It's hard though. It is. It's hard not to worry. It's hard not to despair.
Oh no, I'm not. Trust me. I still struggle with this.
Yeah.
I'm only giving you the tough love because I'm like, no, stop it.
It does, especially for guys. When I can hear that in my mind, it helps me to stop it. It does because I know with emotion, it's like one of those things that the more you give into it, the more you will give into it.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons people get tricked with sex and why Disney's so good at tricking kids into following these things.
Back to
Bam!
Disney.
Oh, did you see that? That was
I know
that was some that we did. But it's true though because when you follow that emotion, it'll feed into itself like a building feedback loop, and boom! All of a sudden you can't control yourself. Sex is just like that, and Disney always encourages people to go out and just try it. And what'll happen, especially if you're 14 or 15, is you're going to get taken in by somebody who knows you can be taken in, and then just
yeah, you get Twitter pated.
You get Twitter pated.
Hey-o.
Boom. And then you got a baby that you don't know how to deal with.
Yeah.
Or you get an abortion, and now you've got a psychological problem you don't know how to deal with.
Yeah.
And it's just there's no Disney. They know what they're doing when they do this. I don't think all the individual animators know it, or the actors or the musicians, but the people who are producing, some of the people who are directing, a lot of the people who are writing, these people, they've got an agenda that they're pushing. And you can see it now in the way politics are pushing toward the sexualization of pre-adolescent people, of children. You know, and it's terrible. It's going on even in the public schools. Like, they're teaching like kindergartners how to do sexual acts and what those are.
I know.
In public schools. It makes me sick.
I did see that, and that was really, really, really disturbing. And I talked to my brother about it, and he goes, well, I don't have kids. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter if you have kids. Like, I don't want this to be taught to anyone's kids.
The 5-year-old of today is the abuser in 20 years.
Yeah.
Because they think it's natural.
Yeah, and I do want a family, though.
Me too.
That's the thing. So maybe that has made my opinions more like, no, I'm putting a foot down. I want to stand up for these kids. They don't have a voice yet.
They don't.
They are the people that are voiceless. So someone has to stand up. And I'm like, no, I'm not a parent, but when I become a parent, for sure, I'm gonna protest what they're teaching some of these kids already. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, and it's in the name of tolerance.
Yeah, well, it's because everybody's so afraid of being labeled politically incorrect. Look, here's what you've got to do. Own up to it. Take the politically incorrect label, and you know what? You're going to have to slam some doors and rip the scab off, but you're going to meet new people. You're going to meet new friends. Yeah. You're going to be more able to think critically, to cogitate about that which defines our existence. You'll be able to see what's really going on. You will be more successful. You won't be in control. You won't be controlled by your emotions as much.
Correct.
You'll be able, and you're still going to have your ups and downs. You're going to get through it better. They want you in a negative feedback loop of dependence, which is fostered by abuse, addiction, and ignorance. The AII, if you will. But it is. You're abused mentally, physically, by things you don't even realize. If you're a 15-year-old and there's a 25, 30-year-old doing sexual things with you, that's abuse. You don't know it because you're 15 and you're chasing it. But look, if you were 15 and you were given heroin, it's abuse. You know, I mean, it's no good. I mean, you can bounce back. It's not the thing that's going to define your life, but it's not good for you. So that happens to kids younger and younger these days. A lot of that has to do with propaganda and systems of dependence they're trying to institute. Mm-hmm. Ignorance. They don't know what's going on.
Most people don't know. I didn't know until I started looking into it.
I'm still learning.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on? This is insane. And it look, like, again, I don't care what people do when they're 18. Who cares? It doesn't matter to me. But doing things to kids is like where I draw a line.
Well, and the thing is, because of the way people mature mentally and physically, the bureaucratization of legality in terms of sexuality just opens Pandora's box. Here's what it should be. Don't have sex unless you're married, and you do it publicly in front of everybody. You do that.
Wait, not the sex part, but the marriage.
The marriage. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I tend to Tobias Funke things every now and again.
I was like,
I didn't mean to do that. Don't. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying on that. But no, you get married. I mean, they did used to have conjugal nights after a marriage in medieval times, where everybody made sure that consummation happened. That weirds me out. I don't think I could perform under those conditions. I'm just not that. I'm not that cool. Anyway, point being, if you're gonna have sex, do it after you've been married. I've messed up in this. I'm trying not to now. It's been near 2 years since I've done anything of that caliber at all, and I'm trying to make sure I don't do it again. It's hard. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to judge you, but I think if society had this thing where unless you actually were married, if there was a weird dude with a younger person, society would be like, hey, what the hell are you doing? Get away from that person. You're not going to have the young stuff happen like it would. Unless, I've met some 17-year-old dudes more capable than me.
Yeah.
Very seldom. But I don't see why that 17-year-old dude couldn't marry like a 19-year-old woman. But it's still a little weird. You see what I mean, though? There's going to be different scenarios there. But if society had it so that sexuality was how God intended it, 90% of these problems are gone. You're not going to have any worry about sexualization of children because we're not trying to introduce sexuality in an open conversation across the board for population. And it does. Maybe there's a reason people bottled some of this stuff in and didn't make it to where we're talking about our genitals on every billboard and magazine and app and ad. I can't I'm not a prude, all right? But I'm tired of being bombarded by this sexual stuff. I think Disney helped wedge that door open, and there's a lot of other forces in Hollywood that pulled it further. Disney got it in our young, tender 3, 4, 5-year-old psyche, and it got it past our parents through things like archetypal programming and subliminal. I don't want to call it messaging. I want to call it fables.
Oh, okay.
Like Aesop's fables, like
Yeah.
the fable of the person who didn't listen to their parents and had a happily ever after.
Oh, because I actually I read a lot of those stories in their original form.
Mm-hmm.
The Grimm fairy tales.
Brothers
Grimm fairy tales.
Yeah.
I had a book, and it was all of those stories, and they were very, very, very different than the Disney version.
Yeah.
More harsh, actually, I would say in some ways, but they were more honest, I think, to what life was most likely like in medieval times, where it was just you're probably going to die. Here's a little tale to help you sleep.
Well, didn't Hansel and Gretel get eaten?
Yes.
They did. And why? Because they disobeyed their parents and they went following treats into the woods, just like teenagers today.
Yeah.
And then what happened is they died for it. And that was the point of the story, was to terrify kids with the unknown so that they trusted in authorities they could trust in and avoided getting taken advantage of. Now Disney changes something like that to where they magically beat the witch and have a happily ever after. It totally inverts the purpose of the entire narrative.
Yeah, and so I didn't see it, and I still sometimes I don't see it because it's hard. You have to be really aware of what's happening, but I always feel like the movies, the newer ones, are even more overt.
Yeah, Mermaid, like she just turns into foam again.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid. She doesn't get married happily ever after with the prince.
I feel like, well, I also remember there was one version where not only when she does change into the human form, it's like walking on knives.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Oh yeah, it was dark.
Wow.
So she can have legs, but it's going to be extremely painful.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I remember reading that as a little kid, going, oh wow, Disney didn't even go as dark as the original.
Well, yes. See, that's the thing is like Disney understands human psychology and emotion fundamentally, and if you don't believe it, go watch any Pixar thing.
Okay.
Remember the one about the emotions? What was that one called? It was the computer animated one.
Yes, I love that one.
What was that one called?
It
was very beautiful and had a pretty good message, but it did have some subtle psychological stuff in it. What was it?
Mm-hmm.
Where there were the emotions, there were the up, the down, and there was the angry guy.
Yeah, it was the happy, sad, angry.
Are they telling us? Are they still with us? What are they saying?
Yeah, does anyone out there remember that movie? Oh man, I can't remember. It had Lewis Black in it as the anger.
And then Joy was losing her joy until she found who?
I don't remember. It's been
the imaginary friend.
Oh right,
the demon.
Is it another demon reference?
That's what it was. See, it's characterizing these. What it does is it finds a way to make the infernal spiritual presence that we may actually encounter in our world somehow attractive and even morally superior. What was his name? Anyway, I was thinking of that. What was that guy's name? It was some slump-a-dumper.
Yeah, like
a goofy.
And it had a goofy voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
It even looked like the Indian deity with the elephant head.
Vishnu.
Is that Vishnu?
I believe so, yeah.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. You just said Vish, and I was like, Vishnu?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I may be wrong, because I know Shiva's with the arms, but there's a weird elephant-headed Indian one as well.
There is, and I apologize to anyone that cares.
Sorry, listen. I don't dislike you, but it takes too long to say the politically correct phrase, and that's part of the reason for PC is to make it hard to think, because you have to phrase everything in a paragraph. I can't say some black dude. I have to say some gentleman who identifies as cisgender and came from the subcontinent of Africa in the vicinity of the Congo between the 1960s. That's the only way I can say it without offending somebody.
Well, I just meant we could be completely wrong in the name. That's all I was apologizing for. I was more just apologizing for the fact that I don't know the names.
I've had way too much caffeine.
You've had way too much. I feel like we should wrap it up very soon.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. So, but yeah, so the what was it called? Oh, that movie with the emotions in the head.
Bedingus, emotions, happy, sunshine.
I could look it up actually. Wow.
In-Betweeners. That's not it. What was that movie? It was an interesting one. But the thing that Pixar is great, they have emotional manipulation literally past a science to an art.
Yeah.
And Disney's always been that way. Even the way they draw, like the nose on Bambi, there's an archetypical way that the reflection of that geometric pattern in a three-dimensional square represented two-dimensionally, the perfect coloration. There's a way that hits in the brain. It's like Solomon says in Proverbs, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold and pictures of silver, or something like that. And I'm sure it's much more elegant in the Hebrew. But there is a certain fit to visual stimuli, colors, sound. Some of them just fit, and Disney's got that down.
They've got it dialed in.
Yeah.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Yeah. Inside Out was the
Out.
movie.
And what was the name of the weird heffalump thing?
Oh, I don't. I
never
didn't.
mind.
It's too late. I was just okay. I was trying to like. No one commented back, so I guess
Have we lost them?
No, there's people watching.
Oh, okay. All
but
right.
I was. But I do feel like we should wrap it up because
Probably.
we've been on for about 45.
Time's fun when you're having flies. One frog said to another at the pond.
So I don't know if we proved the case.
Well, I can do it with any Disney movie, especially the newer ones, like the one about the animals where the sheep is the bad guy because she's trying to make it look like all predators are evil, but really she's just making them evil with the drug, and they're perfectly fine. Lions don't eat sheep without it. Zootopia.
Zootopia.
All of them. The Tomorrowland's terrible about globalism. It's just a globalism expose like you'd see at a E3 convention, but for globalism, it's like, here's what it would look like if we made it work. It's all of them. The Frozen's introducing lesbianism. The sequel, I'm pretty sure she's going to be like full on. That's what I've heard in the buzz.
Oh.
It's just...
I never actually saw Frozen.
I hated it because I was substitute teaching at the time and everybody was singing Let It Go. I never saw it because I heard that song so much I couldn't let it go.
Yeah.
I couldn't. But you know what that song says? With these powers from the air.
Oh.
It actually sounds like she's making an because I looked up the lyrics.
Okay.
It sounds like she's making an invocation to the devil when she sings that specific song.
That's insane.
Yeah,
All
if
right.
you read it, she's like, I take these power of the air and I don't care anymore. I like the cold anyway.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very, very occultic. It's very mystery religion. It's very bad for kids. And if I have, God willing, I have kids, I don't know how I'm going to handle it because I have fond Disney memories, but I don't want them getting those ideas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even Disney, you can't. I guess I'm just going to be a boring. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll have to like sing a lot and teach them to play music or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Because I don't want my kids, if I have any, seeing any of this propaganda. Because I know how I remember it. I know what it made me think. And now that I see through it. Anyway, I'm still talking.
Yeah, you are. And I was trying to wrap up, but I was going to say you can see me tomorrow at the Brea Improv. And that's improv.com/Brea. Use the promo code Rivera. That's at 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Killer show. And I'll be at Art Valenzuela's show in Mission Viejo at the Crown Royal Plaza. It's on the third or fourth floor in a restaurant. I think it's like called the Observatory or something. I can't remember. But it's like at 7 p.m. on Monday. And I'm headlining. I'm doing clean. It'll be PG. So it'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's more than I can say I'm doing. But that's pretty awesome.
I can't do it as well as when I'm doing all the way adult, and that's sad. But when I do stuff that isn't technically PG, it's not that it's straight nasty. It's just it's something that adults already understand, and it's not going to be good for kids to think about. But I try not to. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. When
yeah,
you
don't
see
subvert.
a comedian that's doing an hour of killer G-rated material. That man's a master craftsman.
Absolutely.
Brian Regan, master craftsman.
Master craftsman. I have nothing but huge respect for Brian Regan.
It's great. He does really good. And there's other ones out there, too. He really stands out.
He's the biggest of them.
I look at him, and I'm like, oh, that guy.
Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan's great. I love Gaffigan. And he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
What he can do anyway. But with enough of us. Thank you so much for watching. You've been wonderful. The few of you that have and the ones that commented, I apologize I couldn't comment back. And anyway, have a wonderful Saturday.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.